Blog Talk Radio.
President recognizes Mr. Adams of Massachusetts.
Objects of the most stupendous magnitude. Measures which will affect the lives of millions, born and unborn, are now before us. We must expect a great expense of blood to obtain them. But we must always remember that a free constitution of civil government cannot be purchased at too dear a rate, as there is nothing on this side of Jerusalem of greater importance to mankind. My worthy colleague from Pennsylvania has spoken with great ingenuity and eloquence. He has given you a grim prognostication of our national future, but where he foresees apocalypse, I see hope. I see a new nation ready to take its place in the world. Not an empire, but a republic. And a republic of laws, not men. Gentlemen, we are in the very midst of revolution. The most complete, unexpected, and remarkable of any in the history of the world. How few of the human race have ever had an opportunity of choosing a system of government for themselves and their children. I am not without apprehensions, gentlemen. But the end we have in sight is more than worth all the means. I believe, sirs, that the hour has come. My judgment approves this measure, and my whole heart is in it. All
right, everybody, Joseph Gibson broadcasting live from Greensboro, North Carolina here tonight. I need about 3 minutes here, and I got some special calls here and a lot of subjects here to talk about here tonight. So give me about 3 minutes and listen why your politicians are misleaders. And then we're going to call East Lake, Ohio Police Department live tonight on the radio program. I promise to be calm. I'm not going to yell or scream like I did when the Federal Reserve threatened they will deal with me on the last show. But anyway, give me about 3 minutes. I'm lining up everything right now, and the Fox News department in Ohio, and ask a comment about that case. And then hopefully we could talk about the Confederate flag here tonight and the Confederate statues, the Winston-Salem situation here, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, where they're tearing down the statue. Hopefully we get some Confederate supporters out there of the Confederate flag. And I posted a lot of things on social media about the true history of the Civil War. And we'll see where all of you stand on that. So just give me about 3 minutes, and I will make some phone calls here. And then, of course, as always, I'll take live callers, unscreened, uncensored. All right? So just give me about 3 minutes, please.
I think at one time or another we've all questioned as to whether all that we see and are experiencing in our world has some sort of a rational plan behind it, because we understand now that both the Republican and the Democratic Party in our country are basically run by the same people. The same money finances both sides. We now know, of course, through the work of many historians who have spent their life working on research to show us that both sides of world conflicts have always been financed by the same people. And as I've said before, there seems to be a method to the madness going on in the world. We know, of course, that we cannot depend on our leaders. Our leaders are misleaders. There is a science that they're following. They have their own agenda, and it doesn't include you. What your government pays for, it gets. If you are paid to do something for the government, they will extract from you exactly what they have paid for. When we understand that, then we look at universities and schools, government-financed institutions of education, and see the kind of students and the kind of education that's being turned out by these government-financed schools. Logic will tell you that if what is being turned out in those schools was not in accord with what the state and the federal government wanted, then it would change it. The bottom line is that the government is getting what they have ordered. They're getting what they have paid for. They do not want your children to be educated. They do not want you to think too much. That is why our country and our world has become so proliferated with entertainments, mass media, game shows, television shows, amusement parks, drugs, alcohol, and every kind of entertainment that keep the human mind entertained, so that you don't get in the way of important people by doing too much thinking. You had better wake up and understand that there are people who are guiding your life and you don't even know it. And all American citizens, I think, have suspected something like this is going on. But we're all too busy trying to stay alive and live our lives. And after all, what can one person do about it? This is the most powerful government the world has ever known. They had the ability to get a hold on Adolf Hitler 50 years ago. He had a standing army, the greatest navy, air force, military, secret underworld organizations operating throughout the world. But this government got a hold on Adolf Hitler because it chose to and it wanted to. And if you do not pay your income taxes, they will find you if you go to the Amazon jungle, and they will make an example of you. They will find you and they will deal with you, and you know it. But for...
That's right, everyone, you know it. You know it. And while we're paying so much attention to the Jesse Smollett case there, the fake news and whatnot, Richard Adams, this was a story I want to address first, and then we'll get into the Confederate flag and the true history of what happened and why the Civil War was actually fought. We'll get into that. And I invited some people on social media to call into the radio program. I don't screen callers. I don't give your phone number out to anybody. We're always 100% live. And I invited a lot of people on that, you know, and here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, they tore down a statue because the statue threatens people and they're offended by it. So therefore, the criminal government that we live in today and your legislators that create public policy instead of public law, and I've been over that. I went over that on my Thanksgiving show. I'm not going to go back into it again. And I'm talking about restoring the republic. These people control you, and these are ideals that are brainwashing you and brainwashing our children today in our public schools and universities. I mean, socialism is a great idea. It's an awesome idea, according to even callers that have called in. I called Kamala Harris's office. Wasn't the last show, it was the show before last. She supports disarming the people. Just like Venezuela. Well, we see what's going on in Venezuela. What are they doing? Throwing rocks at concrete buildings? They can't do anything, you know. And that is the only thing we have. We have the First Amendment, and then the founders of this country said the Second Amendment. All right? And that was not to attack the British. It wasn't to defend us against the British. It was to defend us against the criminal corporate politicians. But I want to talk about a story here real quick, and then I'll carry on with the show. And I hopefully some Confederate flag supporters and the Confederacy, the Daughters of the Confederacy, will call into my radio program. I invited them on. Hopefully they will after I do this. But this gentleman named Richard, I promised this to my friends on social media. Richard Adams, he's 20 years old, and he walked into his home and found a gentleman raping a 5-year-old, raping and sexually molesting that individual. Okay? I'm just trying to build a platform so you know when I call the police department and several other numbers here I have listed here that through my research where I can probably get someone live on the line here tonight. He caught a 17-year-old molesting a 5-year-old, and he did what he should have done and what his God-given right was to do, to protect those who cannot protect themselves, according to our Constitution. Okay? He stopped the vile act and, took the guy and basically put him into, like the corporation likes to say, custody. He roughed him up a little bit. He was angry at what he saw. Hey, well, I say God bless the guy, you rape my little child, or if I catch you raping a child, it won't be just an assault charge, trust me. Okay? And I've spoken to sheriffs, I've spoken to many people in law enforcement about this topic, and they're disgusted about this. And that's why we're going to call and try to ask a comment to the police department there in Ohio tonight, and see if they'll comment on understanding the times in which we live in today. We'll see what the dispatcher has to say. I'm typing that number in right now. And it may be a wrong number. I got, with the internet today, it's so convoluted and there's so much crap going on, you don't know what to believe. But this is the number of East Lake, Ohio Police Department, and I'm going to ask them some questions. Well, I'm hopefully going to try to ask them some questions here tonight. So, because that's what I do on my show, Understanding the Times in Which You Live In, in memory of my Uncle Mike, because that's what he said. You need to call these people and put them on the spot. Not like your fake news, your Fox News, your CNN, and look, I watch it only because, I like to report on it on my radio show, Understanding the Times in Which You Live In Today. But let's call the East Lake First Ohio Police Department, and I've got my questions all in order here. Richard Adams' story, and we'll see what they have to say. Let's see what happens. I don't know if I'm going to get anybody live because I do this live. I don't pre-script anything like your Fox News and CNN. I do not do that. Okay? I like to call people live and see what we get, like I've done in the past. When I called Kamala Harris's office in California, if you missed that show, her intern openly admitted that they want to disarm America. She agrees and sponsors Dianne Feinstein's bill. Turn them all in, Mr. and Mrs. America. Turn in your guns, because the government will save us. Those who sacrifice liberty for security deserve neither. And that's what the founders of this country said. That was from Benjamin Franklin, by the way. Excuse me, I'm sorry. But let's call real quick here, and I've got some other numbers here, and then we'll call the local news media outlet that reported this story and edited it and twisted the words around and took cuts out because we got to run a commercial, because that's what they, But I pay for this show, and we do it 100% live. So anyway, let's call the Ohio East Lake Police Department and see what we get here. Here we go.
You have reached the City of Eastlake Police Department. If this is an emergency, press 7 now. If you know the extension number of the party you wish to reach, please dial that extension or choose from one of the following options. For records, please dial 1. To reach the Detective Bureau, dial 2. For the Police Chief's office, dial 3. To reach the Victim Advocate Center, dial 4. For all other inquiries, you may reach our dispatch center by dialing 5, or if you would like to use our automated directory by last name, dial 6. To repeat these options, you may dial 8 at any time.
Eastlake Police, Nash.
Hey, how you doing tonight? I'm calling from Greensboro, North Carolina, actually, and I was reading about, and I saw the Fox 45 news story about Richard Adams, and I was just wondering, if I may, what's going on with that case, because he stopped, a child from being raped and molested, and this has made national news, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but I
there's
was
a lot
just
more to
wondering
the
what's
story
going
than
on
what
with
the
that
news.
case, if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, it's still being investigated. The news does not have all the story, and all the details have not been put out. There's a lot more to the case than what the public has seen. So I personally cannot give any further information until the court hearing at the end of April.
Okay, and that court hearing is obviously Mr. Richard Adams, correct? And can you give a date to that court hearing for me, if you don't mind?
I do not have the date of the exact court hearing.
Okay. But okay, so I know you're very busy. I don't want to keep up much of your time. But according to the media, and you said most of it has been reported falsely, did he really stop? Well, you said contrary to the stories of what's going on, they don't report all the facts.
The news media does not have all the information that is still being investigated.
Yeah, still being investigated. But may I ask your name, if you don't mind me asking?
Dispatcher Nash.
Dispatcher Nash, okay. And I'm calling from North Carolina. I heard about this story, and I saw it on Facebook, and I was so upset about it. I mean, a gentleman stopped a sexual predator from raping a 5-year-old. Is that true?
Partially. Again, it was not what everybody considers rape or molestation. I can't go into further detail, but again, all this facts this news does not have.
Okay. So basically, like I just said, the corporate media that's been reporting doesn't have all the facts, and so they're probably twisting this story around to make you look bad. Correct?
In certain points, absolutely, yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Well. Thank you, Mrs. Nash, Miss Nash, or Mrs. Nash. I'm not sure. I don't mean to disrespect you, but I appreciate your time and taking my phone call.
Absolutely, sir. You have a great rest of your evening.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, folks. Okay. Well. Maybe we don't know all the facts. I was just reporting on a story, and according to Mr. Richard Adams, which I would hope would call in, I reached out to Richard Adams, but there's so many Adams on Facebook, and you don't know who the hell you're really talking to. I'd like to get Mr. Adams here to maybe explain what really happened, and but. The reporter that reported this story, I want to contact them right now. That's what I want to do. And you heard Mrs. Nash there from Eastlake, Ohio Police Department say all the facts were not reported correctly, folks, according to the media. So, and again, for those of you that are not paying attention here who just tuned in, I see many callers on the phone line here tonight. And yes, Longfeller, I've got about 80 callers on the phone line. And I see new callers come in. And I'm just referring to the last show where the people claim I don't have as many callers as I claim I do, which who the hell cares? I'm doing this show for you, But anyway, we just, like I promised, I did call the Eastlake, Ohio Police Department. I spoke to Mrs. Nash. She didn't specifically state that, but she said the corporate media doesn't have all the facts. So let's call the corporate media. Let's do that, okay? Let's call the corporate media outlet that reported on this story. And I have the story in front of me, and I'll quote the facts and what they reported. Okay? And, in a way, I kind of believe the corporate media in this story because it sounds like a police department arrested a gentleman because he found someone raping a 5-year-old, and he kicked the living crap out of him, and the police arrested him, and of course, and they did arrest the gentleman that was committing sexual assault. But look, folks, what do you do in a situation? You catch someone raping a 5-year-old, what do you do? Call 911. Yeah, 3 minutes later, the crime has already happened. It's just like school shootings and everything else that we've covered on this radio program. Call 911. No. And I wanted to ask that police department, actually, do they uphold the Constitution? I didn't get that. I'm not going to call them back and harass them because I've already been threatened by the Federal Reserve banking cartel, so I don't need to make any more enemies on Blog Talk Radio. But let's call this Fox News station, and then I'll get the callers, and everyone can criticize me and do whatever they got to do. But this is a story. And this gentleman, Richard Adams, has a GoFundMe page set up on Facebook, and they've raised over, I think, $31,000 already for his defense. Defense of what? Protecting a child? And then I want to get into the Confederate flag and stuff like that. This is my first topic here that I'm following, and then I want to get into the Confederate flag. And I know I've got callers on the line. I always welcome all these callers, and I promise to give everyone a voice here tonight. We got plenty of time. Let's call this Fox 45 and ask them to comment on my radio program live. Let's see here. Go ahead, Fox 45. I know I didn't dial the wrong number. This is the newsroom, right? I hope so. I may have gotten
Fox
it wrong.
8 Cleveland.
Yes, hey, how you doing? I just spoke to
Fox 8 Cleveland.
Lake, Ohio. Yes, I can hear you. Hello, can you hear me? Nope. All right, well, we must have had a bad connection there. That was the proper number to call, Fox News Cleveland. Let's call them back. Let's see what happens.
Fox 8 Cleveland, Ohio.
Hey, how you doing tonight? I'm calling
Hello.
from North Carolina. Can you hear me? All right. You want to continue to hang up on me? Okay, I'll call you back one more time because that's what the law allows me to do. Maybe they can't hear me. I don't know.
Fox 8 Cleveland.
Yes, how you doing? I'm calling from North Carolina. Can I speak to someone in the newsroom, please?
Yes, this is Cleveland, Ohio.
Yes, good. I wanted to ask about the Richard Adams story that I heard about here in North Carolina. You guys did a news story on that. Can you tell me a little more information about that? Because I just talked to the East Lake, Ohio Police Department, and they said the media, you guys had all the facts wrong about the case.
Okay. And who are you?
My name is Joseph Gibson.
Okay, are you affiliated with like a law department or something?
No, I'm not a law department. No, ma'am. I'm
okay,
just a citizen
so
of the
you just
Republic.
saw this and you called East Lake Police and they're telling you Fox 8's story is wrong?
That's what they said, and I want to be totally honest with you. You're actually live on my radio podcast right now, and I can play. And if you can go to the link blogtalkradio.com/Joseph Gibson, that's what the Mrs. Nash, who answered the phone, who was the dispatcher, said. You guys had the facts wrong to the story. That's what she said.
Okay, well I'm not going to comment, and you should have warned me ahead of time that you were recording me live. So. If you have any further questions, you need to speak to our manager.
Do you have a phone number for your manager that contact?
No, I'm going to end this call if you're recording me. Thank you for reaching out.
I won't record you any longer. Hey, folks, maybe the corporate media does have it wrong. I'm recording her. What's she so worried about? We're live on a podcast. I'm a media outlet contacting her. What is she so worried about? And let's see here. I've got some other tip lines here to call here, and then I'll get the phone callers. I promise I will. But why are people so worried about their phone conversation being recorded? Why? We've heard that plenty of times. The Federal Reserve told me, you're going to be dealt with because you're on Blog Talk Radio. They told me that on the last show. And then when I called Kamala Harris' office, if you're recording this, click. Why? Why is that? Why is that? Can anyone answer those questions for me tonight? I mean, I'm being recorded. I'm recording my own voice here live on Blog. I have nothing to hide. These people are criminals, and criminals have everything to hide. And that's what I try to expose on Blog Talk Radio, understanding the times in which you live in today. And before she knew she was being recorded, she said, they really say that? And then I told her, yeah, I could play it back for you. Oh, I'm being recorded? That's what she said, right, folks? But I've got one more number here to call for this news station. And this, folks, like I always tell you, it's a big club. You're not in it. Okay? They're not going to talk to you. Nobody's going to talk to you, just like the Federal Reserve said on my last show. We only talk to Wells Fargo and Bank of America and the bankers. We don't talk to you. But you stupid, dumbed-down slaves out there, you barter with the Federal Reserve notes, and I got to pay my taxes. My taxes pay for potholes in the road. Yeah. It's funny in a way. It really is. You just don't understand the times in which we live in today. You don't get it. You just don't get it. Like I promised to begin the show, I'm going to stay calm. I see the callers on the phone line. I'm going to get to you. I promise. Everyone will have their say uninterrupted. I won't argue with you unless you want me to ask me a question. Like I promised one of my friends there, I'm not going to mention his name. I see him on the phone line here. But I've got another number here to call here. Let's see if we can get a hold of this news agency again who hung up on me. How rude. The media hanging up on a fellow media outlet? How rude. Let's see here. Let's call this number.
Fox 8 Cleveland.
Yes, ma'am. You hung up on me before I was. I thought that was kind of rude, actually. You're
well,
part of the
I'm
media.
sorry, but when you're telling me that you're recording me live, I'm not going to engage in conversation.
I understand. Can I have your manager's phone number, please?
He's not available at the moment. Can I ask what this is regarding?
Well, it's regarding the news story of Richard Adams. Richard Adams.
Okay. What exactly do you need to know?
Go ahead, ma'am.
What exactly did you need to know?
Well, I want to know the true story, and like I said...
Well, all the information's on our website at fox8.com.
Yeah, I don't trust websites, ma'am. But
okay, well, our reporter was in court today. Yeah, I can transfer you over to their voicemail.
Yeah, and they'll never call me back. You know that. Come on.
Well, I'm happy to transfer you to their voicemail.
Okay, go ahead and transfer me. Go ahead, ma'am.
All right. Please hold.
Yeah, sounds like Amazon, folks. Please hold. There we go. I'm going to leave a good voicemail. Sounds like Amazon. They're never going to call me back.
Hi, you've reached Mark Singer, Assistant News Director at Fox 8 News. I'm not at my desk right now, so please leave a message.
Please leave your message after the tone. When done, hang up or press the pound key.
I'm not going to press anything. Mr. Mark Singer, how you doing? I called because I was talking about the Richard Adams story live on my radio podcast, and I called actually the East Lake, Ohio Police Department, 440-951-1400, and I spoke to Dispatcher Nash, and she stated your media outlet did not have all the facts correct concerning that story. And I can't play everything back to you, but then I called your newsroom and told them that, and I was treated very rudely and hung up on twice once they found out that I was calling in live from a radio podcast show. It's called Understanding the Times in Which We Live in Today, blogtalkradio.com/Joseph Gibson. If you want to look it up, you could play back the link, and because what I'm telling you is true. I wanted to know the true story of the Richard Adams story because the East Lake, Ohio Police Department is saying you guys have the facts wrong, and I'm calling from Greensboro, North Carolina. And if a gentleman was preventing another person from raping a 5-year-old, that's a very big concern in our society today. And if that gentleman was arrested and charged by a municipality, corporate police department, I just want to know the facts of the case. I'm just trying to ask questions as part of the media, Mr. Singer. So if you can return my call, or contact me at my email address, joegibsonishome@yahoo.com. I'd really appreciate it. I am broadcasting live, and I'm talking in front of thousands of listeners right now, leaving you this message. But hopefully you listen to this message clearly. I just want the facts and the truth about the case. That's all, sir. Thank you so much for your time. God bless. Take care. Okay, he's disconnected. Okay. I thought I handled that pretty well. Does anyone agree or disagree? Oh, boy. Wow. I got to take a deep breath here. And that's what we do on Blog Talk Radio, understanding the times in which you live in today. We will call these people live on my radio show. No, and people criticize me. You call these interns, you call these people. You want to know why? Because we're unscripted, uncensored, unblocked. We're not going to have a script in front of us like your puppets on Fox News and CNN who are reading and they sound so convincing and they're telling you the fake news. We are the real news. And before I get to callers, I want to give a shout-out to my friends out there on Blog Talk Radio. We need to unite together. Like Mandela said, there are 10,000 Blog Talk Radio shows out there. Imagine the power we would have if we all united. Imagine the government would shut us down pretty quick, but at least we can get our voices out there. I want to give a shout-out to Tap Into the Truth. I was on their radio program last night, and I appreciate them and I respect them. And Global Patriot Network that is broadcasting simultaneously with me, or was when I started this show. I want to give a shout-out to them. And I also wanted to announce something real quick before I get to callers. Dr. Peter Ventura is going to be a guest on the radio program next week, and he's going to preach a very powerful sermon for all of you. It's not going to be an hour and a half long, trust me. But he's going to preach a 20 or 30-minute sermon and tell you why the situation that we're in today, and hopefully you'll listen into that sermon. Dr. Peter Ventura from San Diego, California. Okay, now let's get to callers now that I had my little say here in the beginning. All right, we'll go down the line here. I see all the callers, 506. I see 302, and private callers that have been waiting for a while here. Let's take my first private caller, and hopefully we can address the Confederate flag and the monuments being torn down in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I wish I could get a hold of somebody there. I'd like to talk to the city of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. What gives them the right to tear down a statue? I mean, but anyway, if we destroy our history, and that's what the New World Order agenda is, destroy our history. All right, first private caller, go ahead. Private caller, and then 336. I see you too. You're waiting. I want to get you on. Private caller, go ahead.
Yes, my name is Mike from Singapore. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. I've been wondering where you are. It just so happens you call in here tonight. I was wondering where you were last week on the show and where you been. How you been doing, my friend?
Well, we have always things going on in Singapore, and so sometimes I'm unavailable, sometimes available. So anyway, you saying New World Order is here to dismantle us. And, actually, I believe in parliament of men must be established for whole nation. And we should have a spiritual democracy in all over the world as well, in order to have achievements. But until then, yes, we may have a new world order come and goes, but the real new world order will be established is a parliament of men, and everybody has equal rights, not like United Nations. We have, 8 people have veto power, and the rest of people just there for picnic, I guess. Picnic, they go there every day to the UN to see
Mike,
what.
Before I get to 336, Dr. Leroy there.
Go ahead.
Before I get to him, he was the next caller, and then 506, and then, of course, 302. They've been waiting the longest. Mike, so you believe in democracy. Can you explain to me what the name democracy means and the foundation of democracy? Because I already know, but I would like to hear your interpretation of democracy, if you don't mind me saying.
Spiritual democracy. A spiritual democracy is different with democracy, my friend. A spiritual
so
democracy.
okay, so explain to me spiritual democracy.
Okay, spiritual democracy is, when people, come to total consciousness. I mean, right now, if you don't like the Trump, they will cut your head off like ISIS today. So this is not the democracy what we have in the United States or around the globe as well too. So a spiritual democracy is when we can tolerate each other's enough, and at the same time we work together to make the world greater place and also our country greater place.
So Mike, so you believe in the New World Order? We should have a one world order where we have a spiritual democracy where we can all work together, correct?
But I believe in the real New World Order, the New World Order that is established for the whole people of the world, has the world army, and it has the world currency, so you don't have to keep exchange and lose or gain in that regard. And
so you don't believe in individual sovereignty. So you don't believe in individual nations having their own individual sovereignty, like the country of America was originally founded on, a republic, not a democracy, a republic.
Like European Union. European Union, they're all together. And at the same time,
and that's working out real well for them, isn't it? That's working out real well for them, Mike, isn't it?
Okay, because it's not based on Parliament of European Union men, Parliament of men. A spiritual democracy they haven't reached to that point yet. But yes, they have a problem.
What point? All right, before I get to my next caller, Mike. What point do they need to reach at? I mean, we're going to all be a one world order and all be happy together, and live in a democracy and a spiritual democracy where two wolves and a sheep vote on what's for dinner, because that's what the definition of democracy means, and the foundation of democracy. The majority always rules, so therefore the minority can never receive rights.
This European Union, my friend, is a beginning. And yes, they have problems, but they will refine together, make it to the point that everybody, all countries are happy, and all the union is happy as well too.
Yep.
So to have a union, that doesn't mean
so Mike, real quick, one question. So Gaza shooting rockets into Israel. Because we need to all be together and happy, and my Bible tells me that in the end we will have this new one world order, and the man of peace will show up and solve all our problems, and we'll believe in him and take the mark of the beast, according to my Bible. But what you're saying is like, for instance, me as a Christian, I need to believe what the Quran says, and we all need to get along to just get along, basically, right?
Okay, as I said, we have not yet gone to spiritual democracy in any country or any union. European Union doesn't have a spiritual democracy yet. Yeah, they have an army, they have a NATO army, but still they have not conscious
but again,
enough.
Mike, before I get to 336 here, who may have something to say here about this. The European Union obviously isn't working too well. So we need an African Union, we need an Asia Union, and we need a North American Union, and then eventually, like my Bible foretells, a one world union where we can all get along and everybody's going to obey each other. And who do these people answer to? A one world government like Amazon and like I've been demonstrating on this radio program.
Your representatives, and your representatives goes to the Parliament of Man. Parliament of Man and the World Army that I am talking about, and Medicare for all humankind, and free education for all are different with the one.
And everybody's going to give up their fire, and everyone should be disarmed, and all the nuclear weapons, and everyone's just going to agree, and we're going to have a one world order, And tell me something. In that new, you really believe, Mike? Do you really believe that's going to happen? Do you really believe we're all going to have a spiritual democracy?
If a spiritual democracy comes, if we are at the point of good, if we don't cut ahead of each other because you say Trump is bad or Trump is good.
Well,
we don't
Trump
cut
won't matter in the New World Order because we're going to have a one world order. Who's going to be president of the New World Order? Who's going to be in charge?
Who's going to be in charge? The whole world will be in charge of the.
That's going to work out real well. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to work out real well.
When Parliament of Men form, then Parliament is.
And what about the women? So the Parliament of Men are going to rule the world. And what about the women, though? The women are going to rise up and say, "Hell no, we don't want man in charge."
No. When I say Parliament of Men, that means Parliament of the humankind. Let's put it that way. It doesn't matter women or men.
Words have strong meanings. Words have strong meanings. So when you say Parliament of Man, that could offend. I mean, what about the LGBTQ community and homosexuals and people like that, and people who want to worship a tree? How will they fit in this new world order?
World Parliament. So everybody included, LGBT included. Men
but nobody's going to. So how is everyone going to come to one common conclusion where everyone agrees on one thing?
The highest point of the return, spiritual democracy. We don't have a spiritual democracy here, my friend. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you right now. Hang on, Mike. I'm going to tell you right now. The Roman Empire is going to provide that for you in the New World Order. We will have that. Trust me. According to my book. And we see it happening right now. So nobody's going to be worried about Donald Trump or the Mueller report or Jesse Smollett in Chicago or any other individual issues because none of us are individuals. We're all one. We're all one and we're all equal. Well, I really think that's going to work out real well. But that's a big idea, like I always play. That one world order, not the law of the jungle, like George Bush always said. We have a real chance at this new world order. And Mike, stay on the line, Mike. I'm going to bring on 336 and then Mendel.
No. Let me tell you something.
All right, go ahead, real quick, because I got other callers on the line. Go ahead.
Okay. Yesterday, in Interstate 16, West Virginia. This guy driving 130 miles per hour, the van, and a police caught him, and then, it was, here, the story is clearly saying that I-68, was shot down, was a result of threat to kill President Trump and blow up the Pentagon. But Boy.com is a Channel 12, West Virginia, covered the story.
And I'm sure if I called them, they'd hang up on me too, because in the New World Order, you're never going to get any answers. But Mike, I appreciate your great points. I'll leave you on the line if you want. I'll leave you on the line, but I've got to respect other callers that have been waiting on the line, Mike. I really do.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's hear.
No problem.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, 336. Go ahead.
Okay. Hey, first I'm going to touch off on
Go ahead. Hang on, Leroy. Hopefully some Confederate people will come in and talk about the monuments being torn down in Winston-Salem. I invited them on the program. But go ahead, Leroy.
That's where I was going to start off at. What most people don't know and what they're not telling you on the news is that monument they just took down in Winston-Salem wasn't even on public property. It was on private property. It was the old courthouse, but it had been rebought and repurposed as apartments. So somebody owned that land, but yet they still made them take that down. So now they're in the game of telling you what you can have in your yard. And that's gone a little too far. First of all, it's a freaking monument. It represents history. Whether it's hate, love, or let's all get together and ride a rainbow, snort cocaine, and do things to each other's butts we're not supposed to, it don't matter. It's history. So you preserve history. You don't change it. And that's the problem today is everyone's too busy trying to rewrite history rather than tell what the truth was. Your last caller, he kept saying democracy, democracy.
Very good point.
I hear this all the time. You hear it on TV, local newscasts, on the radio, democracy. First of all, we're not a democracy. We're a republic.
Learn the damn difference. I said.
Don't interrupt him.
You. Be
Don't
quiet.
interrupt
this is my
him,
time.
caller. Please let him have his time, please.
Okay, and to have this perfect one world order that he's thinking about, that would be great, wouldn't it? I mean, if you think about it, it really would be great. One person, we all change the world and all this other crap. What the hell kind of perfect utopia, damn gay blade shit is that? That's never going to happen because we're people. People are always going to disagree. Go to Turkey, the north side of the damn freaking country. On the north side of the river, they're all European. On the south side, they're all Islamic and Muslims and everything else. You can't go across back and forth. You'll end up dead. And that's just in one country, but yet we're going to make a whole freaking earth be one world.
And Leroy,
that's never
not
going to
you,
happen.
But not to interrupt you, Leroy, you traveled the world, and you've been in Egypt, and you've been in other countries. Do you really think these people are going to say, yeah, let's all just believe in one God and all be together? Do you really think that's going to happen?
Never, because of radical viewpoints. I mean, and that's what it comes down to. As you got Muslims and everything else, radical ones. Now, their religion may be of peace and harmony for the most part, but then you get the ones that take what they read for what it's worth and interpret it the way they want, and they go kill a bunch of people for Allah because they're going to have 73 virgins in freaking heaven when they die. Well, let me tell you something. They're all pedophiles, first of all, because the only person that's a virgin these days is a 10-year-old. So they're a bunch of damn pedophiles, anybody that believes in that. But, and then, then in his own words, your last caller, he was talking about something that happened in Virginia on Interstate 68 or whatever it was, and he uses the term Polish cop. He said Polish cop. Wouldn't that be racism in itself? And he wants a one-world order, and he can't even do it himself. He couldn't say the cop. He had to put the Polish cop. So what's the difference if we call him a Polish cop, a black cop, a white cop, or anything else? It's all the same. And if you want to preach what you believe in, you got to start practicing it. And that goes from Indelicon and all of them. It's a perfect utopia. It's wonderful. It'd be great if it's going to work. But it will never work on Earth because we're all individuals and we all have our own beliefs. And these beliefs spread out beyond communities, beyond cities, beyond states, beyond countries, and everything else. And that's why we have borders to separate us from people that believe other than us.
Yeah, individual sovereignty. We have individual sovereignty.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're all individuals, and we're entitled. And Leroy, real quick, as I brought up, I bring up the Republic. You have a right. Your creator. Whatever it may be, to the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's why the Constitution is the second greatest document, other than the King James Bible. In my opinion, and from my
and I forgot
research,
about that, Joe. He also mentioned free health care, the right to health care for everybody. Oh, wouldn't that be nice? Who's going to pay for it?
Yeah,
you don't have the right to free health care. That is not a God-given right.
Money at will. Well, the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, but it's
not
a Joe. It's not a God-given right to free health care. Would it be nice? Yes. Does the health care need to be restructured? Of course, it always does, because we're always finding flaws here and there. But it's not a right you're born with to have health care. And
but Leroy, let me ask you this question. If the government got the hell out of our business, and like the New World Order, like the last caller Mike was talking about, we don't need a one-world government. We don't need any government.
No.
Let us as an individual live our lives free and pursue the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Get the government out of our way. Stop
exactly. If the government would allow health care to be privatized or whatever, a free market, and go across state lines and everything else, they would be competing with each other. Naturally, that drives the cost down for anything. Healthcare would be affordable.
That's capitalism. That is capitalism.
We can't say
not
that.
Socialism.
We can't say that. Exactly.
But Leroy, I think I may have a caller. I got 506, and then I got Mendelicon on the phone line. Of course, I promised that he can call in uninterrupted here, and he's been attacked lately on this radio program. But first, I got to go down the list here. I want to bring on 506 and see what this gentleman has to say, or ma'am, or sir, or tree, or whatever you want me to call you. You know, because everyone gets offended if you call them ma'am or sir nowadays. You know, because we're all equal. I say this: if we're all equal, let's put women on one side of the room and put men on the other, and let's have a fight and see who wins. You know. But anyway, 506, go ahead. You want to comment on tonight's platform? Go ahead.
Hello.
Oh boy.
Joey.
Go ahead.
I would like to comment on today's platform, if I may.
Yeah, I'm waiting. Please don't take up the full 1 hour and 9 minutes I have left. Please, just spit it out.
Okay, my son. Do not interrupt me. I wanted to talk about the monuments. You see, the monuments have a right to be monuments. Do you agree? Don't answer that. I once had a monument built for me by my apprentice, Kenny. He built it out of Play-Doh and poop. But it was okay because he is a special person.
All right. Everyone's a special person. All right, sir. Make your point to the platform here tonight. So, sir, do you agree with Winston-Salem, North Carolina, tearing down the monument? Like Leroy was just saying, it was on private property, and the city went in and tore down the monument. Do you agree with that?
Thou shalt not worship false.
No, that wasn't my. No, sir, you didn't ask. You're dodging the question like a typical stoonage, like Tony Gaga would say. Can you answer the question? Do you agree that the monument should stay where it was on private property? Are we individuals, or do we have to support what the government tells us to say, like Mike from Singapore said, and he wants a spiritual democracy, a one world order? Do you agree? Do you agree with that,
Joey,
or not?
It is wrong to have took down those statues on private property.
Okay, all right. You answered the question. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Steal, my son.
All right, thou shalt steal. All right, very good. 506. I got other callers. I got your good friend Mandela Khan on the line. We'll see what he has to say. I'm going to give him a few minutes here to speak, like I promised I would. I won't interrupt him, but I originally started this. I originally started the platform by talking about a case in Ohio where a gentleman prevented someone from raping a 5-year-old, and he was arrested for doing that. And doesn't that concern all of you out there? Maybe not. I don't know. But you know what? One day it's going to happen to you. Like I always say before I get to MandelaCon, you can watch your next door neighbor get hauled away in handcuffs and thrown in a concrete box. You say, wow, I wonder what happened. And then you look to the left of your house and you'll say, there's my other neighbor getting hauled away. And then they knock on your door. Guess what? It's too late. Okay? It's too late. We are individuals. We all have an individual right to pursue the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But I'm going to let Mandela Khan speak here for about 3 minutes, and then we'll take other callers because that's what I promised him I would do. So go ahead, Mandela Khan. You've been attacked on this radio program, especially the last program. I'm going to give you the floor here, and then I'll take other callers. Go ahead, Mandela Khan. I won't interrupt you. Go ahead. Let me unmute you. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mandela Khan.
Joe Gibson. A change of heart. March 28, 2019. Choosing a new way of life. Or whether you represent the Confederate flag of Joe Gibson or the red, white, and blue of Tyrone, Pinocchio the Terrible. On behalf of the Ethiopian Empire's total recall, I have to help each and every one of you from Trash Jesus the Sinister, remember what you forgot or what you deliberately are trying to ignore as relates to Mike in Singapore. Mike in Singapore. as you gave him the platform, the red carpet treatment. Singapore. Remember, Joe Gibson and Tyrone, and I know your minions are listening, I'm an equal opportunity ass kicker. Mike in Singapore was not told he'd get 3 minutes. Mike went on with his bullshit for over 10 minutes. But here's why I got you, Joe Gibson, and Tyrone the Terrible. Mike in Singapore, I don't give a damn about the Confederate flag under the Constitution, Joe Gibson, or Tyrone Pinocchio the Terrible under the red, white, and blue, under Angel Eagle Lady Love, who loves the Bible, country, and the Constitution. I don't give a damn what you're talking about because you are speaking out of the east end of a horse's ass, Angel Eagle Lady Love, Tyrone Thompson, and Joe Gibson. Look at how I cleverly rounded your ass up because of Mike in Singapore. And the last caller. And the last caller.
All right, don't interrupt him. I wanted to give him 3 minutes. Don't interrupt him, please.
The last caller, Leroy, who mentioned my name in vain, because from each and every one of you men, there has not been a woman who interacted in understanding the sign of times in which we live. I am the chosen SUN of the matriarch, and I represent all women on the goddamn planet, whether she black, brown, red, yellow, and white, old, young, gay, straight. So the case that you are talking about, we have to go in our families on incest and incest. And when you look at incest and incest, it starts from the Roman Catholic Church and goes to the King of England on down to a storefront Baptist church under Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. And isn't it extraordinary, even if you say you're a Christian, a Moor, Muslim, or a Hebrew Israelite, whoever is a man at the pulpit, he gets first birthrights over every breast, thigh, and leg that comes into his congregation. At the pulpit today, the Roman Catholic Church knows that the cardinals, bishops, and monsignors weren't celibate. The nuns will tell you that. Only my voice can bring that forth. And there's a plethora of people inside of understanding the times in which we live who listen to my voice, that Joe Gibson. You don't know why your board is lighting up. It always lights up when I come into the scene. And you attempted to change the format and leave your closet Ku Klux Klansman under the red, white, and blue. Oh, no, not you. It's the Confederate flag. Under your closet Ku Klux Klansman of the God, country, and the Bible, Angel Eagle Lady Love, you are dismissed. This is international public record of live and let live and one love. So we have to have a change of heart. Every one of us, I don't care what color we are, we have to have choosing a new way of life, because everyone can perpetuate, like Joe Gibson tell you about the New World Order. That's the new kids on the block, the illegal alien European invaders. But we have an older world order, and I'm the spirit of Shaka Zulu, and that's live and let live in one love under the matriarch. Shaka was a goddamn tyrant. So was Hannibal. So was a Barack Obama. Just like Humpty Dumpty, who sat on a wall. Then Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's men, all the king's army cannot put Humpty together again. So if you are an illegal Christ or Tarzan, you must build a wall where you can never get out and affect the majority of human family, who are women, children, old folks. And the real stolen legacy is not black or white. It's about wrong versus right. So, Joe Gibson, you run for any seat you want. Your ass going to be defeated, just like me. And Tyrone, Pinocchio the Terrible, I told you, you no good bastard. And I'm saying that because bastard is in the Bible. Listen to Torah. Listen to Quran. You know, you said the bastard children, right? So let me put it in perspective. I'm telling you, Dr. Peter Ventura, the more doctors we have, the sicker and sicker we get. But now we have the cure, and it's internally. That's a change of heart and choosing a new way of life. That's all it is. This is a social experiment from the Creator, from the universe and the uterus, and we are failing as men.
Who is the?
All
right, Mandelican, I gave you a little more over 3 minutes. I actually gave you 5 minutes, actually.
Okay.
But who is the creator of man?
Okay.
Who is the creator of man?
I'll tell you what. From the universe, first everyone laid a map of the world on their table, on their coffee table, on their dining room table, and look at the whole planet Earth, whether it's flat or round. And if you look at it, we all suffer the same. We all want the same things. But the Creator is live and let live in one love. One love. Love is the key and how we got this. But if we're going to say, I'm right and I'm ready to be the eagle.
And Mandelican, that's working out real well, isn't it? Let one live and let one love. So we should just have anarchy.
No, Joe, I can't let you distort what I said. Under the Constitution, the Bible that you represent, we've been placed in kill or be killed. Because capitalism based on imperialism.
Not according Mandelican, not according to my Bible.
IMF,
Jesus said, love me as you are and love one another. That's what my Bible says. My Bible doesn't say kill or be killed.
But you talk about the feds, you talk about the Federal Reserve, I'm talking about the World Bank and the IMF. I'm telling you, this is an extraordinary event that the new kids on the block that you call the New World Order, they never experienced all this utopia. It is because of the majority who has submitted their birthrights. And I'm telling you, Joe Gibson, everyone in the United States of America under the eagle, if you are a cop, if you are a pastor, if you are a judge or attorney, you are guilty because you know that your policies of Adam and Steve is smothering out the sovereignty and integrity of the children now. The children have to be taught how to give each other oral sex and sodomize each other. And that comes from your dichotomy and Tyrone Thompson's. We are
that comes from the agenda of the New World Order, and that doesn't come from my Bible. It doesn't teach my book doesn't say children should be sodomized.
In your New World Order, Joe Gibson, you, Dr. Peter Ventura, you say that the world and what y'all perceive as the beginning is 10,000 years. I'm gonna give you 100,000 years. No, Joe. Listen to me. I'm going to give you 100,000 years. Whatever you say that the
you only got 7,000 years, according to my book. And we're at 6,999 right now.
Okay, me and my people have been here millions of years ago, Joe, but you won't recognize that under the sign of the times in which we live. You won't recognize millions of years before.
Answer me this question. How do you feel about Mussolini and during World War II, how he conquered the Ethiopian Empire? I mean, and then America went and liberated Ethiopia. Actually,
let me tell you this. That is a lie. That's a selective amnesia. Ethiopia, under Mussolini or whoever the fuck was you want to bring Hitler and all the European Union. Ethiopia was never penetrated by the illegal alien European invader immigrant.
I don't know what history book you're reading from, but I'd like to read it. Can you tell me?
I'm defeating your history, Joe Gibson, because you know that ain't no way from live and let live and let live under the Ethiopian Empire and Khalifa. Remember, California was named after an African matriarch, Khalifa, California. No way was California invaded.
The Ethiopian Empire is going to rule the world, and we're going so the Ethiopian Empire is going to rule the world.
No, you can't. There's no third party ventriloquist interpreter. You're not going to interpret what I'm saying because you're going to try to fuck it up, just like Tyrone the Terrible.
No, I'm asking you a question.
I'm
asking you a question. Listen. Ethiopian Empire, how is the Ethiopian Empire? We had an international caller explain that there was going to be a women's council set up, and they were going to rule the world. I want to know how that plays out, actually, because everyone wants to rule the world.
Here's how it plays out. If you are a Hebrew Israelite or more a Muslim or a Christian under the Masonic order of the Patriarch, you are wrong. You are wrong, just like Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson.
To tell me I'm wrong? What gives you that right to tell me I'm wrong?
Here's what gives me that right. Based on the majority rules in a pluralistic society. If you lay the map of the world of the Creator, it does not designate the United States of America. You are under the Confederate flag of the United States of America. You represent 5% of the human family. You and your ideology only represent 5% of the whole family. And if you're black, you only represent in the United States of America 0.1%. 99.9% of blackness do not live in America.
So who's the majority? Who's the majority?
Inside of the United States of America, under your God country and your flag, under Angel Eagle they love, you only represent 5%. I'm telling you, your eagle is grounded.
Yeah, but
your motherfucking eagle is grounded.
Well, the eagle represents freedom, actually. But
you are a liar. You are a liar, Joe Gibson. You are a liar. The eagle, under capitalism based on imperialism, represents slavery, oppression, and the women being treated like goddamn animals in the United States of America. That's why a 5-year-old girl can be raped, and that's why not only a 5-year-old girl. Let me tell you this.
So because women are being treated like animals, so therefore the women should rule over men, right? Is that what you're saying?
No, because you brought a case out of Ohio of a 5-year-old girl, but under what the men has been doing to all the women in their own families, Black Lives Matter, or we are country of a republic or a democracy, and we care about the women and children, old folks. If you go to the courts, the illegal alien European invader immigrants who set up this illegal constitutional thing called not only social media.
So Mandela-Khan, so you don't support the Constitution that everyone has the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, correct?
The administrative procedure. The administrative procedure is that women and children and old folks can be raped by everybody at the pulpit, podium, telephone, or microphone. They got the Bible throwing the Quran in their hand.
I think I proved that tonight when I called Fox 45 live on this radio program.
It don't matter.
But it does matter because I'm trying to expose the truth here on this radio program. It does matter.
Okay, Joe Gibson. Now here's where it don't matter, because just like I told you, even if you call them by yourself from 9 to 5, which is normal business hours, I told you that when you choose to call even Donald Trump, you are not, I repeat, going to get a redress to whatever the reason you call them for. So you say you call Kamala Harris.
Mandela-Khan, I agree with you 100% there. I do agree with you because the United States is a corporation and it's a big club and you're not in it. We can agree on that, but at the same time, you're saying you're the judge. You can't be questioned. You're the greatest man that ever lived on Earth.
I'm the greatest man ever born because I dismissed you, Tax Jesus, Sinister, and Tyrone Thompson under the red, white, and blue. Ain't no white Jesus or black Jesus, and fuck the Confederate flag and the red, white, and blue.
There is no white Jesus. Hang on, Mandela-Khan. There is no white Jesus. Jesus was a Jew. Okay.
No. There's no black Jesus or white Jesus. There's wrong Jesus or right Jesus.
There is no black Jesus or white
and
Jesus.
I agree with you. Okay, Shaka Zulu was a tyrant. I'll keep
you on the line, Mandela-Khan, as long as you can keep your cool, because we got many other callers on the line here. Okay, many.
Okay, I'll tell you what. What I want to hear is not the usual suspects. I want to hear everyone who never spoke in understanding the sign of the times in which we live. I know it's a plethora of you. Push one and speak now or forever hold your peace. Any usual suspect, if you mention my name in vain, I'm going to crush your ass into oblivion and mop these goddamn feet with you in the United States of America.
I know. You're the greatest man that ever lived. Okay. But anyway, okay, that's fine. I gave you your time like I promised I would. I'm a man of my word. I'm going to go down the line to all callers. Let's see what we get. This is live radio. I don't screen callers. But and like Mandela-Khan said, I support the Confederate flag, and I posted it on Facebook, the true Civil War and how it happened. And if you want to destroy history, like Dr. Leroy said, we're only destroying our true history, and then we're going to get people out there yelling at each other, saying, "Hey, this is what happened." But in fact, This is not what happened, you know. And then in the end, what's going to happen? We're not going to have, like Mike said, we're going to have one utopia and a one world order. Oh, well, actually, you are for 3.5 years, according to my Bible. You're going to have your utopia. Don't worry. The man of peace is going to show up, and the Red Army will invade God's chosen land, Israel, which is a part of Ethiopia, actually, and that stupid little state that they think they want to call a state called Palestine. You know, that is just absolutely nonsense. But we're going to get into that with Dr. Peter Ventura and talk about true history. We will next week, okay? Because I talked to Dr. Peter Ventura, and he's going to explain everything to you. And he'll give you facts. You can look it up. Don't watch your fake news, okay? Listen to this news. All right, anyway, let me get to callers here. Let's go here. Private caller, go ahead. Private caller. What do we got here tonight? Private caller, go ahead.
Mr. Gibson, this is Clay Douglas. I'm calling into your radio show. You and I spoke a few nights ago, and I don't want to keep things where we left them off because I don't want to call into your show to make a mockery of your show. So I was wondering if you and I could have some sort of truce, because I would like to comment a few things that was said this evening on your show.
Well, that's why I opened up the phone line to you, sir. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Gibson. Now, first, I would like to say something about this man named Mandela Khan, and I want to know why he says Leroy Pinocchio the Terrible when his name is clearly Dr. Leroy Dickinson. Now, no. He didn't. No, he said no. You're incorrect, sir. Maybe you had a little too much to drink here tonight. I don't know, but he was talking about Tyrone Thompson. That's who he was talking about. Tyrone Thompson, not Dr. Leroy Dickinson. He was talking about Tyrone Thompson. Okay, that is my mistake. I apologize for that. Does Tyrone Thompson go by Pinocchio the Terrible?
Well, no, I think that Mandela Khan was just making a fascinating comment about maybe his nose or something. I don't know, but
the way I take it is that Pinocchio, his nose would grow when he tells a lie. Now, because Tyrone Thompson is a big fat liar. Tyrone Thompson is a coward and he's a liar, and he used to have a blog talk radio show that was called Talk Real Solutions, that was about hating white people, and Mandela Khan was criticizing that show, and because I don't think Mandela Khan wants to divide the people, he wants to bring the people together. That's what I believe Mandela Khan was trying to make his point upon. But Tyrone Thompson actually, go ahead, Mandela Khan. Go ahead. You want to answer that question?
If I may, let me give crystal clear clarity. Under the matriarch, that is my assignment, you and I, even with Tommy Casamayoa, who Tommy is no more after 7 years, I defeated Black Jesus Minister, better known as Cash Jesus Minister. Mike in Singapore, shut your mouth. Mike in Singapore,
no, that's not Mike. That's somebody else saying
that's
that.
Not Mike, but you have to understand, it's actually my time to talk. You had your.
I realize that, but I want to give you clarity because you told a lie. You told a lie, and I want to clarify.
I did not tell a lie. Mr. Gibson cleared it up for me. Mr. Gibson cleared it up.
But he didn't give you the reason why. Me and Joe Gibson is in solidarity with the Confederate flag after 6 years. We come from another network, and that's Tyrone the Terrible Pinocchio. And all of us are Pinocchio because if we say out of our mouths and don't have our actions and deeds to back up what we really say, every one of us are Pinocchio. But because Joe Gibson and me come under another sector, and that was under Talk Real Shitty, better known as Talk Real Solutions. Now, I've defeated Tyrone Thompson, but you made a mistake. But I'm going to give you your time. But I want to first clarify this, that Joe Gibson, even with the Confederate flag, it is the red, white, and blue in March 2019, Mark in Singapore, Mike in Singapore. It's the red, white, and blue that is causing more damage than any Confederate flag could ever be concocted from the past, the present, and into the future. The red, black, green, and gold controls this thing under the matriarch.
All right, with your hellos. All right, Mandela-Khan, hang on. Mandela-Khan, yeah, you made your point there about Tyrone Thompson, and I agree with you 100%. And I agree with the Pinocchio point, Tyrone Pinocchio Thompson.
Well, that's,
and,
I
really do. And the caller did agree with you, Mandela-Khan. He said I clarified that. You weren't talking about Dr. Leroy Dickinson, actually. You were talking about Tyrone Thompson. But I got so many other callers on the line, sir.
Yes,
make your point real quick.
Yes, sir. Mr. Gibson, you have to understand, you gave Mandela-Khan about 20 minutes that I had to listen to him babble on about nonsense. And then he took up my time when I was on the line. I only received about 30 seconds.
Go ahead. Don't criticize callers. Just bring to your point and what concerns you.
Okay, yes, sir. My point is that, like you said, that the American people should be coming together instead of doing this nonsense name-calling like Mandela-Khan has done, because if you want to look at it that way, take the name Mandela-Khan, for example. Now, you can say
you're criticizing Mandela-Khan. Sir, you're criticizing Mandela-Khan. I opened up this radio program. Sir, hang on.
No, sir.
Hang on. I'll let you make your point. But I am the moderator of this program, and I am the host.
Yes,
so
sir.
Show me my respect, please.
I do respect that very much. But
okay.
You have to understand.
And all I'm saying is I've got other callers on the phone line here who want to get in. But I want you to make your point. I opened up the platform here by calling a police department in the state of Ohio. And I do this a lot. I call people out of the blue. And I call senators, governors, sheriff's departments. Hang on, sir. And this is what I do for you, and then I open the floor, and we start attacking each other as individuals.
I'm the bad guy. March 2019. That's appalling, Joe Gibson.
See, he's saying the same things over and over, wasting your time, Mr. Gibson.
You've never heard him, Joe Gibson. What's his name and where is he at? Who is this guy, Joe
Clay
Gibson?
Douglas, calling from San Antonio, Texas here. I've spoken
to
Mr. Gibson before.
Thank you, sir. I don't know you, and you don't know me. Let's put that on the table and understand the sign of the times in which we live. I've never interacted with
you speak
and how
many
dare
times
you?
Before.
How dare you
your name is
use my name in vain?
First of all,
all right,
everybody,
hang on. Everybody, we can't argue with each other. I'll tell you what, sir. Stay on the line. I don't mute anybody. I allow everyone to remain on the line on my radio program.
Mr. Gibson, my one point.
Go ahead, make your point real quick. I'll give you 1 minute uninterrupted. Go
Any
ahead.
point
make your point.
other than me is reputable.
No,
Any point other than me is reputable.
No, Mandela-Khan, let him make his point. I'll give him 1 minute, and then I'll get to the other callers on the line. Go ahead. Make your point,
Mr.
sir.
Gibson, I don't even need 1 minute. It just takes me 10 seconds to get this out. Now, Mandela-Khan is name-calling someone else when us as Americans need to come together, represent the red, white, and blue.
I don't care about Americans. The Confederate flag or the red, white, and blue. I don't care about Americans.
I know, Mandela-Khan, please, Mandela-Khan, let him finish his point so I can get to other callers, please. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. When it comes to name calling, look at Mandela-Khan, the name. He isn't a man. Look at the last three letters of his name. C-O-N, Khan. He's a con artist.
K-H-A-N, you lying, no good bastard.
K-H-A-N. Say, sir.
K-H-A-N, you lying, no good bastard.
Next caller. Everyone,
Mr.
next
Gibson
caller. All right.
is a very intelligent man.
All right. Listen, Mandela-Khan, like I said, I disagree and agree with him on many issues, but look, this is an open
Please don't lie on me.
us.
Whoever comes to the pulpit or the platform, please do not lie on me. C-O-N is not my last name. It's K-H-A-N. Dismiss that caller, Joe Gibson. Dismiss that caller.
I'm getting to the next caller. Everybody, cooler heads can prevail here. Next caller, private caller. Go ahead.
Good evening, Joseph Gibson. How are you?
I'm doing fine. What do you want to talk about here tonight? Yeah, I'll give you a few minutes to talk. Go ahead, but please don't attack all the other callers. Just say what's important to you, if you don't mind.
Sir, my plan was never to attack anybody. And if you would like for me to speak on the topic that I would like to speak on and not on the topic at hand, I would gladly do so.
Go ahead, do so.
Yes, sir. If I may, please let me get a word in. I'd like to talk about the I'm sorry. The times we live in today, you bring up very, very interesting points. And yet you have callers calling in from Sydney or Singapore, and then you have the callers from Ethiopia and from Texas, and I think from Canada, and that is a good thing. And you, sir, you are from North Carolina, I believe I heard you say, and then you call into Cincinnati, Ohio, and what I'm trying to get at, sir, is that you're trying to bring people together, but you don't know that you're separating them. And you, sir, need to use your platform wisely and not ignorantly. Do not take offense to what I'm saying. All I am trying to get across is that you are not as intelligent as you think you are.
I never said I was intelligent, sir.
Sir.
Well,
sir,
you can. Sir. Obviously, you're attacking me for for me bringing certain topics to the table. That's fine. Leroy Dickinson wants to. You want to attack me? That's fine. Before I get to Leroy, back to Leroy. Go ahead and attack me some more if you want. Go ahead.
Okay.
What am I, a fake Navy SEAL? I'm a convicted felon. I'm a child molester. I'm running for Congress. I'm running for governor. Let's see here. What else am I? Attack me all you want. Go ahead. I'll give you 1 minute. Go ahead, sir.
Sir, my plan is not to attack you, but to speak the truth, because it is like having something stuck in your teeth. Only a real friend will tell you that you have that. You understand what I am trying to tell you. You think you are so interesting and smart. But, sir, I am here to tell you the truth. I am speaking the truth to you. You are very, very unconscious of how demeaning and ignorant you sound. And
okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that. You can continue to attack me. Send me messages on yahoo.com or on my Facebook page. I appreciate that. I really do. But I want to bring on Dr. Leroy Dickinson again. He wants to speak. And then I got 317 who wants to call in. Go ahead, Dr. Leroy. Go ahead. You want to talk about the Ohio call that I made to a police department live on this radio program, because we're too busy talking about nonsense instead of talking about, facts or truth. But go ahead, Dr. Leroy Dickinson. Go ahead.
I mean, I could get on here and talk, hello, Joe Gibson. My name is Leroy, and I'm calling. But, no, I'm not going to talk like that. I'll talk my normal voice. There's no reason to hide it. You made the call to Ohio, and one thing you got to remember is don't tell people you're recording them. That makes people instantly nervous. There is no law in North Carolina that tells people you have to disclose you're recording them. North Carolina is a one-party.
All right.
There's the other guy with something in his throat besides his tongue. Anyway, you don't have to tell them you're recording. North Carolina is a one-party state. That means only you need to know you're recording. It's kind of silly, I know, but that's why the law was made. You're allowed to call anybody and record them. If they discriminate themselves, that's on them. It's their own damn problem. But what is?
Hang on.
What happened?
Let me mute that background noise for you, Leroy. Let me mute those people. Go ahead, Leroy. Go ahead.
Nigger.
All right. Yep. There we go.
Oh,
go ahead,
there
Leroy.
Go ahead. One.
Yeah, I know.
There's another
exactly.
one.
And that's what happens
some
here.
The comments they make.
And that's
what
why the
happened?
corporate
I want
media
you to tell
probably
me.
does what they do. You know, that's why they script people. You know, because you get these idiots that call in who have nothing intelligent to contribute. You know, other than good callers like yourself. Go ahead, sir.
Now I want to know what I haven't been paying much attention to the news lately, just because I haven't. I've been doing other things. Camping and everything else. But what went on in Ohio? You said there's something about somebody stopped somebody from raping a child, and they were arrested. And then I heard you call the local law enforcement, and they said, well, the media doesn't know all the facts. Then you call the media up, and they're like, oh, you're recording? Oh shit, I gotta go. So what actually happened? I mean.
Well, apparently, from what I understand from social media, that where I was contacted is this gentleman, Richard Adams, who's 20 years old, walked into a home that he was staying at and witnessed a 17-year-old raping a 5-year-old. And what he did I'm going to be plain. What would you do? You'd beat let's not say that. I'm live on the radio program. All right. But we all know what we would do if you caught a 17-year-old raping a 5-year-old, okay? And I'll say I would grab him and do what Mr. Richard Adams did, and what he did he took him and he beat the living daylights out of him, and then the police were called and they arrested both individuals. They arrested Richard Adams for assault. And everyone's up in arms on social media about it, and they actually set up a GoFundMe page for him because you know what happens when you go to court? You know this, Leroy. You know, it costs money. You got to get lawyers, you got to post bond, you got to play the game. You got to play this big game, you know. And then at the end of the day, charges dismissed. But at the as long as you, like Jesse Smollett. But anyway, that's what happened. Is this guy walked in, he caught someone molesting a 5-year-old, according to the Facebook page and the social media story and Fox 45 News, because they interviewed the police department, and the police department stated live on the news that, hey, we arrested both individuals, we did what we had to do, and now they have to go through the court system. And all I was trying to do is expose, which costs everybody money because it's all about the money, right?
Exactly. And this guy that broke in and did the right thing, that walked in on it and did the right thing, he may not have $5,000 or $10,000 to pay an attorney to represent himself or anything like that. So therefore, what's going to happen to him? He's going to end up broke on the streets or in jail, either one, for doing the right thing. And that's the difference between a liberal state like Ohio and somebody representing liberal views like Ohio than what happened in Texas just a couple of years ago when the same thing happened. Basically, a dad walked in on a Mexican guy, raping a girl in a barn. He beat the son of a bitch to death. Yeah, he had to go to court, but he was, he didn't need nothing. He was basically let go free. So that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
If you're sick enough to harm a child, especially a child that's 5, 10, 11, 12, even 13, 14 years old, if you're that damn sick, you have no place on this earth or in society. They should drop them off from a helicopter about 10,000 feet above the Atlantic Ocean and say, if you can make it back to the mainland, you're free. Just drop them son of a bitches. You know what?
Yeah.
And once you started doing that, or you brought back some freaking public hangings, people would stop doing such heinous, stupid crimes. The problem is now you could go out and you could kill somebody and be out of jail in 7 years. But don't you damn near break and enter or steal a pack of gum, 'cause you'll be in jail for 10 years. You're better off killing somebody.
That's right. That's right. And my whole point, Leroy, was to expose the fact of public policy. And that's what I really wanted to do is and the United States Corporation. You see, these police officers in Ohio and East Lake, Ohio, and the phone number was 440-951-1400 that I did call. They say, well, we're just doing our job. You know, that don't cut it, folks. That doesn't cut it. The Nazis said that during the Nuremberg trials. Well, we were just doing what we were told, you know, burning Jews in gas chambers and gassing them to death. We were just doing what we're told, you know. That doesn't cut it. And my whole point was this, Leroy, is that we need to wake up our police departments, our military in the United States of America to uphold the Constitution that they swore an oath to against all enemies, foreign and domestic. It doesn't, and what that police and what those police officers did. Before I can get into a conversation with Miss Nash from Ohio, East Lake Police Department, I wanted to ask her that question. Did you not swear an oath to uphold the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic? You know,
now,
to do what
Joe,
is
I could
right.
take that. I could take if you're going to take that direct route, I could say, okay, the police officers arrived. They seen this guy beat the shit out of this guy. We got to arrest them both, even though they both did wrong. But the other guy, the one that walked in on it, should be immediately exonerated of all charges and be set free. I mean, he shouldn't have to go to court for it. But that's what you got to do, though, in a situation like that.
Correct.
You got to take them both.
Absolutely correct. I agree with you 100%. And that's why we have a republic that we're supposed to be under, to investigate these types of things. And these are peace officers. You're absolutely right. They see two people bloodied up, and this guy did this. But you know what? At the end of the day, he saved someone from being sexually assaulted, a 5-year-old who cannot defend themselves. And that man, Richard Adams, should be deemed a hero in his community. Instead, like you said, Leroy, he's going to have to go to court 19, 20 times, have a lawyer, you know, and who can afford that? Who can afford something like that, you know? And that was my whole point of calling them. I'm glad you brought that to the attention of the platform here tonight. That was my whole point, to expose that situation, to understand that we live in screwed up times today. We really do. And until we, the people, and I offer all of you a wake-up call on this platform. And that's why even you commented on the monument being taken down in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and you made great points there. You know, that was on private property. But yet, I'm offended. That Confederate statue, it offends me for my own political gain. So therefore, we got to send city workers out there who should be doing their job by filling potholes and picking up the trash like they're paid to do. But instead, we got to have 50 city workers to take down a monument that represents the true history of America, you know?
Yeah, at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. True history. And if we erase true history of America, then how the hell, like I always say, we need to understand the times of yesterday to understand how we live today. And then if we understand today, we can look forward to tomorrow, you know?
And
that
how
goes
about
back to one of
educating
our,
these people?
Yeah,
Joe, how about educating
these
people that think all these monuments stand for hate and slavery? That's not what they stand for, because there was more free black people serving willingly in the Southern Confederacy than there was in the North. There was more slaves in the North than the South. And that's not what the damn war was about to start with anyway.
You're absolutely correct. You're
If
absolutely correct,
I may.
Leroy.
Tyrone, Pinocchio, the Terrible, I'm doing real right into it.
I've got other callers that have been waiting. I got 317, a private caller, and 952. We got plenty of time
I can't
left
let
here.
you
So
and the Confederate people uphold your tyranny, just like Tyrone Pinocchio's
All right,
terrible.
so no, the Confederate people do not represent tyranny, Mendelicon. They represent
the red, white, and
individual
blue.
state
Don't
rights.
you, under your contract, honor the red, white, and blue, Joe Gibson, and even the Confederate flag waiver?
All right,
Don't you
Mendelicon, let's take some other voices here on the radio
the red,
platform.
white, and blue. The red, white, and blue.
Mendelicon.
Stop
please.
kicking people's asses, Mendelicon.
The red, white, and blue. Under the contract, God, country, and your guns. Don't you represent
That's
the red,
right.
white, and blue?
God, country, and guns. That's right, Mendelicon. God, country,
The
and
red,
guns.
white,
and I always
the
say,
red, white, and
come
blue.
and take them. But anyway,
The red,
And
white,
that
and
God,
blue.
country, and I'm going to tell you all something. That God, country, and guns, that kept us from speaking Japanese or German right now. So if you don't
That's
like
the
it,
illegal
move the hell out of the United States.
immigrants talking.
You know what?
You're
Mendelicon,
absolutely
I've
correct.
asked you question
That's the
after question after question. The only thing you've ever done is attack me. Don't try to talk over me because I'm a good talker. I can talk over you all day long.
Against the people
So,
of the
I've
planet
asked
All right, guys,
outside of the people of the planet Earth,
hang on.
white power and black power is finished. Black
Mendelicon,
power
I
and
got to
white
mute
power.
you for a second. Mendelicon, I got to mute you for a second because I've got other callers, man. Come on. Let's listen to what other people have to say about, let's go down the line here. That's what this show is about, letting everyone else speak. So we can't talk and argue with each other, okay? You'll get some closing thoughts, Mendelicon. I promise you will, all right? All right, 317, private caller, then 952. All right. Go ahead, 317. Go ahead.
Hello, Joseph. This is Ted.
Yes, Ted. How you doing?
Well, there's a whole lot of issues, but this is very obviously a recorded show, and you keep calling it live. I would appreciate if you would not lie to people.
All right, Ted. Don't attack me. This is 100%
This is
live.
recording.
Okay? No, it's not a recording. No, Ted, it's not. I'm telling you that right now. But we can go to the Mueller report and investigate it and twist it all around, and then maybe we'll get to the truth. How's that sound?
Okay. Also, I can tell you're dodging my phone call. You
I'm
waited
not
until
dodging.
8:30 p.m.
How am I dodging you? I just put you on live on my radio program, and you started attacking me, telling me I'm pre-recorded. I'm 100% live. Go to my chat room. Log in to blogtalkradio.com/Joseph Gibson. And I don't need to use a fake name or a fake username to prove who I am. I am who I say I am. So stop attacking me. What's on your mind, Ted? Go ahead. The floor is yours now.
Could you be clear where you live? What state do you live in?
Oh, for God's sake, Ted, listen. I live in North Carolina.
Ohio.
Okay? My name is Joseph Gibson. If you want to read about the history of my life, I already told you. You can go to Behind the Walls by Joe Hodnett and look it up. No, sir, I don't live in Connecticut. I live in North Carolina, okay? I live in Greensboro, North Carolina.
I was horrified when you called the police dispatch of that poor police department because it's a national crisis. Wait times for 911 numbers are just terrible. People are dying. Their homes are getting invaded, and you're slowing down response time.
Yeah, 5-year-olds getting raped. Yeah, I know, and that's why I called them, because 5-year-olds are getting raped, and somebody stopped them, and the gentleman was arrested, and now he's got to pay $20,000 in court fees and hire lawyers. But go ahead, you're not bringing any knowledge to the platform, sir. What do you want? I mean, what is your point?
It's ironic that you're talking about a lack of education. It appears to me that the combined years of education amongst you and your callers cannot be more than 12. Combined years of education.
Okay. All right.
Well,
more than 12, 12 or 1,200, sir. 12 or 1,200.
Why? Years of education,
It
12.
appears, sir, that all you're trying to do is... Sir, Ted, listen, I discredited you on Tony Gaga's show. I made you look like a complete jackass. You know I did. Okay, you're a stooge.
I deny that.
And you have nothing to offer to this platform that is well educated, other than making silly little comments about me.
Joe Gibson, you know that they cannot comment.
That's my real name, by the way. That's my real name.
I didn't say it
What's
wasn't.
your real name,
I didn't
sir?
say it wasn't. I didn't say it wasn't. How come you called?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You said yes, you did in the beginning of the conversation. You did, and then you said I am uneducated and I only have 12 years, and all my callers have 12 years of educational experience. That's what you said, sir. You want me to play it back for you?
Yes, I'll wait.
You don't have to
go
wait,
there, Joe. I know you can't do that. I know you can't go back. But anyway, you're again trying to dodge the subject. You know that in an ongoing criminal investigation, they cannot just take phone calls and answer every detail. And you are not exposing some huge cover-up when someone says, I cannot tell you that information. Why do you act like
Well, hang on a second, sir.
In the Watergate.
Then why did the police department give an interview to Fox 45? Then why did they give a live interview to Fox 45, which I did call? Why did they do that if they can't comment on ongoing criminal investigation? Can you answer that question? Why did they do that?
I have no information about the details of that. Why would I know?
Okay, well then why are you speaking on it then? You're talking like an ignoramus
I'm not dealing with the case. I'm not dealing with that. I'm asking why you are so shocked that they cannot tell you the home address and the Social Security number of all the parties involved.
I never asked them. Listen, sir, I never asked for their Social Security numbers or home address. I asked them to comment on the case at hand.
Fraud is a big problem in our country.
Yeah, and you're a fraud.
They're not going to give that out.
And you're a fraud. And you're a fraud. You are.
Okay.
And you're a fraud. Sir, all right, sir. Yeah, I know, and I'm pre-recorded, and this is a fake show. Everything's a fake. The only thing that's fake, sir, is your criminal corporation that you're a slave to. Okay? Do a little research.
I did not know I was enslaved.
Yeah, you are enslaved through the Federal Reserve banking system. I post it all the time on social media. Look my name up.
Have they assassinated you yet?
Excuse me?
Have they assassinated you yet? You said you were threatened.
They tried twice. Actually, yes, they did try twice. Read the book.
Oh, really?
I just told you. Behind the Walls by Joe Hodgman. Read the book.
And by
There's
the way,
actual federal court transcripts in there. They did try twice. Yes, they did.
Has Senator Kamala Harris called you back? Have you interviewed Bernie Sanders yet? You put in messages for
No, they won't
talk
to me, sir, and they won't talk to you. No, sir. They won't talk to me, and they won't talk to you either. Have you tried calling Bernie Sanders or Kamala Harris? Have you? Because they won't talk to you. Just like when I called the Federal Reserve Bank live on my radio program a few nights ago, the last show I did, they won't talk to you. They'll only talk, and the woman even said it. They'll only talk to Bank of America, Wells Fargo, SunTrust, and they said, I refer you to E-Trade. That's what the woman said, sir. And I said, well, give me the number to E-Trade. I can't give you that information. And then once she found out I was calling in live sir, all right. All right, let's go to 962. Go ahead. This gentleman has nothing to offer to the platform here, obviously. Go ahead, 962. Go ahead. 952. Go ahead. And 952, do you want to make your voice heard on Blog Talk Radio? Do you not or not? That's fine. All right, play the harp. Play music. Go ahead. All right, private caller, and then we'll get to our closing thoughts. That's fine. They can do whatever they want. All right, private caller. Go ahead, private caller.
Yes, Mr. Gibson, I had to call back in because I was muted for the wrong reasons, but I wanted to let you know that I do agree with Mr. Leroy about, when you called that news station, they asked you if you were recording. But if you think about it, you're actually not the one recording. It is Blog Talk Radio. Now, I don't know how the laws work there, but you can always say that
correct.
you are not.
You are correct.
Yes, sir.
That's another angle. That's a good one.
That is a good one. That you're absolutely correct. I'm going to use that in the future. Actually, that was good thinking, my friend. I commend you. I do.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Not Bernie Sanders, but anywhere that you call, they ask you if you're recording. You are not physically recording yourself, and that's the way around it.
You're absolutely correct. Yeah, you're absolutely correct, sir. Give your closing thoughts here, since you're on the platform, because I've got to wrap up the radio program, and I want to give everyone some closing thoughts. I really do. And the harp player, he can wait all he wants. I tried to give him a live voice on my radio platform. I really did. But we covered a lot here tonight. We really did. The Confederate flag. We talked about many different issues, and we attacked each other like we always do on Blog Talk Radio, instead of uniting and coming to a common conclusion and understanding the times in which we live in. And that's the title of this show. Very interesting.
The only person you don't give a hard time to is Mandela-Con. Why is that? He walks all over you.
Well, sir, you're absolutely wrong, and Mandela-Con can actually agree with you. I actually do give him a hard time sometimes. I really do. So, hang on. Maybe Mandela-Con can answer that question. Go ahead. Mandela-Con, you're first tonight. You're first, my friend. Go ahead. Give some closing thoughts.
To the Congo. Pinocchio. Leroy Congo. Congo, Pongo.
From Maine to Florida, Washington State to California, UK, University of Kentucky, from the Congo to the Bongo, Tyrone, Pinocchio the Terrible, and Joe Gibson, Pinocchio the Terrible. Tyrone under the red, white, and blue, and Joe Gibson under the Confederate flag.
Mr. Mandela,
there was a woman, her name was Bree Newsom. Bree Newsom climbed up a stripper pole just a few years ago when Barack Hussein, the mad bomber, was the president. Bree Newsom.
Yes, and you also said the same
many of you won't say anything.
Because he won't interrupt you. Come on, please.
Many of you won't say Sandra Bland in Texas, who was not killed by a policeman. She was killed behind the closed doors of the Gestapo, the Rostocks, the gulags called prisons. Sandra Bland was killed behind the prisons. But there was a great woman on
Rama Lama Ding Dong.
All right.
The 4th of July. The 4th of July, 2018. Teresa Mangou from the Congo. She climbed up on the flag of Texas. The woman in Texas just a few months ago, that's the same woman who was up on the Statue of Liberty in 2018 as y'all barbecue your ribs, your pork chops, your 4th of July celebrations. Teresa Mangou, there was a great woman who climbed up on the Statue of Liberty, who climbed up Austin, Texas, just a few months ago. That same woman demonstrated the matriarch. That same woman demonstrated the matriarch.
You just said that.
Well, hang on, sir. Hang on, sir. Go, finish up, Mandela-Con, 45
Thank
seconds.
You, Mr.
I want to oblige this caller here. I want to call Bernie
words.
Sanders live on this radio program. Let's call Bernie Sanders. Go ahead, Mandela-Con, wrap it up, and then I'm going to call Bernie Sanders.
Mr. Gibson,
okay,
I would like
understanding the of the times in which we live, choosing a new way of life, and each and every one of us, from Joe Gibson to
call the Pope,
Tyrone, Pinocchio the Terrible, because Joe Gibson is Pinocchio as well under the Confederate flag, because under the Masonic order of the Patriarch, Tyrone, Pinocchio the Terrible, and Joe Gibson, Pinocchio the terrible under Confederate flag.
You've already
They won't
said
recognize. They won't recognize the total recall of the matriarch and class action 567. That's why I'm the greatest man ever born. Because
all right,
Tyrone,
Medelcon, hang on.
Thank you very
I want
much.
to oblige the caller. Listen, everyone accuses me. Why don't you call this person? I'm going to tell you right now because no one will answer the phone. And Medelcon said called in between 9 and 5, but this number's out in California, so it's before 5 o'clock actually.
No. Hey, Joe Gibson, Joe the terrible.
All right, hang on,
Medelcon,
hang on. I'm calling Bernie Sanders' revolutionary office right now. Hang on.
Call Donald Trump's revolutionary office.
Hello?
That's the fax number.
Yep, that's
the fax number.
That's a fax
That's the
number.
1983 BBS.
That's 1983 BBS, sir.
All right, fax. Oh, you're right. That was the fax number. Hang on, folks. Hang on. Give me a chance here. All right. I just want to oblige my listeners here. I'll call that idiot Bernie Sanders. I have Bernie Sanders live on this radio program. I'll play that at the end, actually. At the end of this radio program, courtesy of Glenn Beck. But let's see, phone number.
That was a recording.
Okay, there we go.
Not live.
Yeah, that's what you're going to get, sir. That's what you're going to get. But let's call Bernie Sanders. Let's call his office and listen to his recording, because these people don't care about you. Simple as that. They don't care. But I'm trying to wake all of you up so you understand that. But none of you seem to get it. You don't get it. You just
Donald
want to
Trump don't care about no goddamn body on the planet. Donald Trump don't care about nobody on the goddamn planet.
Medelcon doesn't care about anyone but
Donald Trump don't care about nobody on the goddamn planet.
All right, we're calling Bernie Sanders, everybody. Hang on. We're calling Bernie Sanders.
George Bush hates black.
You have reached 8027480.
Yeah, there we go. We'll hang up on that. Someone in the chat room, give me Bernie Sanders' campaign office.
Donald Trump don't care about nobody. I don't give a goddamn who Joe Gibson calls.
I've called.
I don't care who Joe Gibson calls. Donald Trump don't give about no goddamn body.
Mr.
Gibson, we're not going to talk over each other, folks.
Donald Trump don't give a fuck about nobody. No matter who Joe Gibson calls.
But
Medelcon
does not care about Mr. Donald Trump.
Hang on. And you too, sir.
Let's call the Pope at 3 a.m. Call the Pope.
Yeah, call the Pope at
Trump
3 a.m.
Well,
the Pope don't need any sleep, sir. He's the Holy Father. He can do everything for you, right? The Pope can cure the world. So
Mr. Gibson,
I'll call the Pope.
Mr. Gibson.
Hey, I'll call the Vatican Church. Give me the phone number. I'll call them live right now. But anyway, we got another caller on the line here.
I don't have a computer.
Yeah.
952 is on the line, sir.
Sir, listen.
Could you play an interview
all we
with
can
Donald
do
Trump?
is argue with each other, but the fact of the matter is I
don't
do what is in
argue.
the best interest of all of you. Look, I don't care about the Pope on a rope in the Roman Catholic Church. I know the Roman Empire is going to rise again. Okay?
Mr. Gibson?
Yep, go ahead,
Mr. Gibson,
sir, real quick. Go ahead.
Do you care about the statues that are being taken down? Because I do. And also,
yes, I do.
You said
we addressed that.
Yes,
Dr. Leroy addressed that, actually.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Leroy. And matter of fact, Dr. Leroy, if he wants some closing thoughts here before I try to get in contact with Bernie Sanders.
We do agree on this, but you, Mr. Gibson, you said that you had another caller on the line. I'd like to get his thoughts on it as well.
Yeah, well, hang on. Let me go down the line here. Yep, there's a private caller on the line.
How many callers do you have right now?
I've got about 78, actually. 78 callers, actually.
How could you count them that quickly?
All right. Let me put this private caller on the line. Go ahead, private caller. Go ahead. You're unmuted. That's the same guy that says hello for 10 seconds. Unmute him.
No.
All right?
That's
I got 952 who wanted to play the harp. Anyone else else wants to press 1, they could join in.
Oh, actually, try 952. He might have been taking a nap, but
all
he
right,
might
I'll
be
do
back
that for
now.
you, sir. I'll try 952 just for you. Oh, he hung up. He hung up. As soon as you said that, he hung up.
Cover up.
Oh, no, he came back
What a
on. He came back on. There he is. All right, hang on. I got to get up the
78
scroll.
callers, and you can
I
find
must
his
have
number
disrupted
right away.
his deep slumber.
Yeah, I know. I'm a phony. I know. Everything's fake. Everything's fake. But I call live police departments for you people. I call the senator's office live on this radio program. But I'm a phony. Tell me something, folks.
You called
Tell me.
no
Yeah, I know. Whatever.
But
All right,
no, sir,
952.
you're not a phony. I don't believe that you're a
952.
phony. I believe. Okay.
Hello.
952. Go ahead.
Yeah, Joseph Gibson. How's it going? This is Frank Gillespie. How are you?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, Frank.
Yeah, this is Frank Gillespie. I'm Frank the janitor. How are you?
Are you going to sell us some pillows?
No, I'm just a janitor. I couldn't pick up the phone earlier because I was watching.
Some people call it a sling blade, but you like to call it a Kaiser blade, right?
No,
sure.
I was
so rude.
I was watching.
Call back. I tell you, Joe, hang up on these people. If they got to call and use a different damn dialect or tongue than their natural voice, just hang up on them. They're not adding nothing. They're trying to get you a gotcha moment.
I agree, Dr. Leroy. You're absolutely correct. I agree.
This is
and I wanted to give you some
people's
closing thoughts.
voices.
Yeah, I know. Dr. Leroy is absolutely correct, actually. Go ahead, Dr. Leroy. Give some closing thoughts here. I'm trying to get Bernie Sanders' campaign office.
I'll do a little research on that number if you want, but I can't right now.
Mr. Gibson, this show is for everyone to say and have a voice. And then you had Leroy in the background saying, do you want to sew me a pillow? He was adding
because the dude was copying something from Sling Blade, the movie. That's the way he was talking. I'm sorry, nobody in real life that has the ability. Nobody in real life that has the ability to use a telephone is going to talk like, how much are damn French fried potatoes? That's only in the movie. So if you call in a damn radio station with that voice, there's something wrong upstairs.
He did not say that.
What a fool.
He did not say that.
Doctor.
Actually, Carl is the man's name. Carl is the man from Sling Blade.
And I'm glad
Frank.
you guys know each other so well. Maybe you should go out on a date sometime.
Well, he said
that
his name is Frank, not
Of course,
Carl.
Joe's laughing at that one.
Anyway, you know what? I will give a quick closing statement, and I don't care what anybody thinks about it.
Another racist rant.
But
no, it's not a racist rant. Hey, Ted, get out of bed. Ted, get out of bed. Good job. All right, yeah, and I like Mandela Khan. I like a lot of things he's got to say, and I've said this several times before. I would just like to ask him some questions, have him honestly answer them for me, without getting mad, without giving me an internet ass whooping or anything else, because I'm not a poet, but I can make it rhyme every time, just like him if I want to. So, but there's things I would like to ask him.
That's a quote
just to
from
get his point of view
Blade.
on things.
Mr. Gibson,
and
hang up
is this Jim Cornette?
This is a recording too, by the way. Beep, please leave your name after the tone. Beep, okay?
Hang up on him quick. He's quoting Sling.
All right, shut him up, Leroy. Go ahead.
I'm sorry I insulted your favorite movie of all time, but Dwight Yoakam lost his head in that movie. And if you get in an argument with me, you will also lose your head. So don't go there. Anyway, I can make a rhyme every time, just like Mandela Khan does. But I like the guy. I mean, I know we don't agree, just like you and me and you and Mandela Khan. We all give him a hard time. But sometimes all we want is answers on their thoughts and opinions on things that we may have contradictory views on. And he gets the one problem I have with him is he gets mad and he attacks you as soon as you ask him a question. And Mandela Khan, in your closing statement, if you ain't did it already, you come back and and direct me in that. But the rest of these people on the show tonight, I think we've had 5 other callers that you've put on live. I could honestly tell you 2 of them are full of shit and they're not using their real voice. and the other 3 are too chicken shit to use their real name or tell you where they're even calling from. And then they want to get out here and criticize other people for doing the same thing. That is exactly what the Democrats do. We're going to do this, and then we're going to blame you for doing it. Russia collusion, everything. I mean, just look at the laundry list on the Democrats. It's ridiculous. And for the other one that was commenting on you calling this little police station, this poor police station in Ohio, and asking them questions, that's their job. Their job is to serve and protect the public. And if you call them, they should answer. Now, I agree they can't give you things that are being investigated on still, and stuff like that, because it's detrimental to the case that they're investigating. But when the damn lady that answers the phone says, yeah, the media doesn't have all the facts straight. Come on. I mean, Jesus. It goes to show you there's somebody always having somebody hush up. From the Jesse Smollett case on up. He paid his $10,000 fine and did his 2 hours community service with Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson or whatever. And you know what? When I heard that Trump ordered an FBI investigation into today, I said, you're damn right, because that was anybody else in this world that staged that kind of attack. If I walked in downtown Greensboro and paid 2 people to beat my ass up and said it was 2 black guys wearing a Malcolm X damn hat, my ass would be in jail and I would be forgotten about. So you know what? The shoe fits both feet. And it's time, if you want this world to start living together and being together, it's time to start following the same rules together. If you don't like that, maybe the United States ain't for you. Go somewhere else. I'm done.
Well, you're absolutely correct, Leroy. Thank you. I got about 20 callers on the line now, 22 actually, but I want to oblige that caller, and I want these people to listen. What happens when you call United States Senator's office? And this is what will happen between 9 and 5 too. Okay. Let's do that real quick, and then I've got some other callers here. Want to press 1? I'm going into overtime, so if you hang up, you won't be able to get back in. So, but I want to call Bernie Sanders' office, because that's what one caller said. Call Bernie Sanders' office. Well, I'm going to do that. This is what you're going to get. And then I'll take a couple more callers, and we'll wrap up the program, okay? So let's do that. Let's call Bernie Sanders.
The number you have dialed cannot be reached from your calling area.
Yeah,
2HH.
All right.
The number you
All right. That's all right. That number obviously is wrong. I've done this before on the radio program. I've called Bernie Sanders, actually. Go back in the archive. I've called him live. I called Kamala Harris. I've called Senator Ocasio. I've called Donald Trump's office also. I have done that. Okay, I'll call anybody you want. But give me the number to call, because obviously the internet is filled with so many scams, and it's all scams and nonsense. So let's take a couple more callers before we wrap it up here. And Leroy, thank you so much for contributing. I appreciate it. And there's one less voice or one less listener, and that was my Uncle Mike from Wisconsin. And we talked about that, and we're going to be doing a dedicated show about him in the future. And play some of the clips from years ago when he called in. That would be very nice to hear.
Joe, please make that on a Thursday night, if you can.
Yeah.
A Thursday night, or because I mean Friday nights and Sundays are hard for me to do anything. That's family time. So if you could do that on a Thursday night, I would greatly appreciate it. I really would. Mike was a great guy.
For you, Leroy, we'll try to arrange that. And Jeannie from Wallingford, Connecticut, actually said the same thing, actually. So yeah, but Mike from Wisconsin, who used to call into this radio program, he's no longer with us. He passed away during my radio Blog Talk radio show last Friday. The last show Friday night that we did, actually two and a half shows ago. Excuse me. And I posted his obituary on my Facebook page. And Mike was a good person, and hopefully he's in a better place. But, all right, real quick here, take a couple more callers, and then we'll wrap up the program here because it's getting late. And go ahead. Hopefully it's not the same damn people calling in with different voices trying to disguise their voice. Hopefully it's people that have something interesting to contribute to the platform here tonight. All right, private caller, go ahead. Okay. You say that's what I get. All right, next private caller. All right, there we go. All right. You say, all right, next private caller. All right, I'm glad. You see, this is what they do. Next private caller, go ahead. See, they got to block their number because they're phony, fakes, and they're idiots. You know, they're idiots. They're stoonages, like Tony Gaga said when I was on a show on Sunday night. They're idiots. They're stoonages. You know, they're idiots. Go ahead, private caller. Go ahead.
Hi, Joseph Gibson. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
I want to say that I agree with Leroy. The Democrats exactly do everything he says. They make up stories and fake news to throw us all off and to make them believe all their lies, every single one of them. And you know, that's just what the Democrats do. That's them. I agree with him 100%. We need to be vigilant and stop being so ignorant and just, if it's on the web, it must be true. You got to use common sense. And Dr. Leroy, if you ever want to go on a date with another man, go ahead and give me a call.
Oh, boy. All right. You said something so great there, and then you discredited yourself, sir. You know? All right, listen, I'm going to end the radio program there. Dr. Leroy, it's great to hear your voice again on the radio program. Like I said in the beginning, there's one less caller, but if you could fill that void on this radio show platform, like you said, Fridays and Sundays is hard for you, I understand. But Mike was one of the original supporters when I started this radio program, and he gave me the idea of calling these people live on my radio program and putting them on the spot. And that's what we do on Blog Talk Radio, understanding the times in which you live in today. And, so I want to say to everyone that did tune in tonight, even in the chat room, thank you so much. God bless. Take care. Hopefully all of you are well. And family, we got to stick together. Families are what's important. Stick together, do the right thing, and we can build a better country and whatnot, even though we talked about that also. So take care, everybody. God bless. Take care. Good night.
Good night.